What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. This is quickly becoming one of the most anticipated ban list updates. Can it save 3 months of Yu-Gi-Oh? We're here on day 0 of no sooner than January 13th, and a lot of us have caught F5 fever, myself included. That being said, speculation is swirling, money is being spent, and I'm gonna do something I rarely do. I'm gonna talk about ban list speculation here in this Market Watch, certain cards, why I think they will or won't be taken off the list, and what will happen if they are taken off the list. So let's actually start with something that's getting bought out right now. Pot of Avarice Ultimate Rare first editions are up all the way to $86, and there's no near mint unlimiteds. This is pretty crazy. The Ultra Rare from DR4, I believe, yes, is also getting bought out to ridiculous proportions. I think the Ultimate Rare is a way better keep. This one has failed to keep price throughout the ages, despite being the name DR4. It just doesn't tend to hold up versus the Ultimate Rare. When I look at Pot of Avarice, it is not a combo starter. You need to commit resources before playing this, and it is then an extender and also resource refresher, and that's why I think the TCG has held off of taking it off our list for so long, even though I believe it's now at 3 in the OCG. This card can replenish the extra deck, reward you synchro spamming, reward you for link spamming, and I think that's why the TCG hasn't really decided to go ahead and go forward with this pull-off. Could it happen here, and what will happen to these prices? I think they're kind of at max prices already. I can't see this being more hype than towards $86 to $100. But let me know in the comment section down below if you think people will go crazy. They'll use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing them nothing extra and supporting the channel directly, and just go crazy nuts because the ban list is here and this card, oh my gosh, I've been waiting. Will that happen, or will sellers just pull their copies and see what happens and try to list really high as other people sell out of theirs? I don't really know where this one's going to go. Interestingly enough, a lot of the other versions are kind of under market price. You do have the very nice secret rare of this card too, but it is double its price. It seems like on all fronts, people are really going after Pot of Avarice and saying this is finally the time. Another card similar that the OCG's had for a while is Harpy's Feather Duster, but somebody in my live streams said something very smart about this card. They believe that Konami will not bring it back on this list in order to sell Lightning Storm, aka Raigeki Storm. This is going to be in our upcoming set, and a lot of people are going to be chasing after this, likely to be a Prismatic Secret Rare candidate. I do think that Konami would have the big brain move to want to sell these over an old card that they haven't reprinted in ages. I think that that's a very smart speculation, and I don't think we'll actually get Harpy's Feather Duster off the list because of that. If it does come off the list, you can bet that a lot of these are going to spike up. In fact, we've seen the Tournament Pack 8 actually have a higher price than this at points in history. This 500 is pretty cheap for what it is from core TCG for a TP8, as they've sat around 700 to 800 previous, and that's where we see the next lowest. So it looks like they're trying to make a sale during ban list hype of a card they've had problems getting rid of, and getting stuck with the hot potato. I do think we'll get Harpy's Feather Duster someday. We have Solemn Judgment at 3. There's no reason for it to be stuck on, but Konami wanting to make sales makes way more sense. Deep Sea Diva is something I think we will get off on this list at least to 2, so I would expect a re-wave, yeah, I made that pun, of hype with the Deep Sea cards, and you know, the Mermail Atlanteans as well have been just bubbling up in price right now. I do think the Mermails and Deep Sea stuff with this list will end up going up. Maxx C, it's either at 3 or 0 is the argument by the community. Does Konami USA see it the same way? I don't freaking know, but I do think if it peels off to 3, the Ultimate Rare will be $500. I'm not even gassing. I think this will just skyrocket. People will want sets in droves, and it will be the new age Super Book of Moon for what it was back in the day. It will be worth its weight in gold times, what is that? It's like $70 to $80 per card. It'll be worth it times 5 to 6. The secret rares, I think, would go up towards 50s after the cool-off. So on initial buyout, they'd probably be more. And the rest of the copies would probably hit some... Wow. Well, we see buyouts already on the Ultras here that I didn't expect. And I know people were hunting down the Supers for past formats recently that were friends of mine as well. We see those spiking beforehand, too. So if they're 15 before the ban list and among the hype, where would they be after? I actually have to change my opinion on this. These might be 25s at this point. Konami would, at some point, cash in. I do think we'll get a Dude 2.0, thanks to the Master Rule, and with banlist updates, maybe later in the year, we would see more copies. They've obviously put this in structures before. Commons bubbling up in price, too. This is the definition of speculation, and people sure are after it. My opinion, it's not going to come off our list. But if it does, I do hope it's at 3, and the community that's investing sure seems to hope so also. Denglong, I think, is way too busted. I really hope it doesn't peel off. I know a lot of you guys want it to. I think it's 50-50. I think it actually could, but I hope it doesn't. That's just my own take. I think it will swell up to $20, only having one printing if it does come off the list in any capacity, and fall back down towards 12, but you'll be able to make sales on it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You're gambling whenever we talk speculation. Zoodiacs, I also hope don't peel off. I still remember. I think Trident will do things. The Zoo engine will be used for Link fodder along with Chalk and Line and be able to pop off. I think that people forget about Zoo, the engine, and I think you would see Barrage up towards 10 to 12 very, very quick after Fallout, the initial prices probably being towards 20, and I think Trident would be towards 20 to 30 maybe on initial hype, and then Chalk and Nine never got a reprint. You could very well see this for Link Summoning going way up, as you already do see all these lightly played copies being the lowest and only 23 copies, so Chalk and Nine something also not to sleep on if you really do think Zoo is going to pull off. I think it's more towards a 25% chance to pull off, as the OCG just made that move. We're usually a couple lists behind them, and we saw how Konami really dragged its heels with stuff like Construct, waiting to sell the Structured X, I guess. And I don't think that they'll follow Zoo very quickly. That Grass Looks Greener really does only have one printing, but I don't think it can come off the list, especially with Orcas. Unless they hit Orcas in tons of ways, I just don't see it. Grass does balance itself in metagames, because the more Grass players there are, the worse Grass gets, but it would still be a large amount of 60-card decks, and I feel like Konami just actually doesn't want to deal with that at this point either in the TCG. Deck checks are so annoying on these 60-card players. I can see that being a real R&D process, unfortunately, as it does take extra time in tournaments, and the new time rules are geared towards getting those tournaments over quicker. Left Arm Offering would probably also go up for the Hollow version towards 5 to 6, but we do have a common here, luckily, that is very affordable. Tour Guide, I could see peeling off to Konami does like to take fan favorites very quickly and head with them as long as they don't think they're too disruptive for the game. And even though BA does have a huge boost coming from the Master Rule, I could see them deciding, well, Tour Guide, if it does get negated, it can be a choke point, although modern BA decks tend to only play 5 BAs and a ton of rank 3 spam into links. I do see a Tour Guide peeling off to 2 and following the OCG at some point. I think the first edition secret rares will quickly go towards 30 plus if they haven't already, and the ultimate rares would probably, in the hype, head towards 100. Right now, whenever I load things, I can't tell what's first ed at certain points, so do bear with this market watch as we talk about the list. We also have double Iris Magician in the conversation, having only one printing. Both the Pendulum graphs only have one printing. I think Pendulums do need some help towards Master Rule 5. I don't think they'll necessarily get it on this list, but if Konami wants to shake up the meta even more, I would love to see the Magician / Pendulum graph stuff come back. I miss the Trap card so freaking much. I could see them making this move. And then finally with Nekros and Unicorn. Unicorn is a Floodgate-like card, yet it is one of the most cheered for cards to come off the list. I want to say in history that's Floodgate-ish. It also is a resource tool for the graveyard, but I can see them slowly peeling back and allowing Nekros at full power, so to speak. I do see them probably moving Unicorn eventually. I don't know about this list, but I think the real money would be made on stuff like Secret Valks, market price 13. Well, remember when these were 25? I get the Ultras are running around everywhere, but I think the older version of the deck would spike up, and maybe the ultra rare versions would baby bump up. They've been running lower on quantities, but they're still pretty accessible. They used to be double these quantities, though, and, you know, dual power is only going to get older. These are going to slowly disappear from the market over time. So I could see Unicorn, the secret rare, being towards $5 mayhaps, and the rest of the deck going up as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this speculation market watch. What are maybe some things that I missed that you think should be considered when it comes to the market and the ban list? There are definitely things happening right now as we speak, and boiling up towards a point of the community just wanting the list so bad that, well, they're making their moves with their money. Not what I would personally do, but if you are, use that TCG player link in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and like I said, it does support the channel directly when you use that link, costing you nothing extra for those decisions you would already be making. Thank you guys so much for watching.